Hey, what's up? Uh, I'm creating this video for moms. Moms, I want you to know the power of the nervous system and the power of bringing peace to your family. That you are going to be the best person for the job. Obviously, dads can play a huge role in this as well. And sometimes in modern society, I just find that most guys lack this ability to communicate, but their wives open them up. They're actually pretty good at it with their wives. Not necessarily as good with men. Some of them are getting better with men if they're like in men's groups or whatever. But uh, I'd encourage you to encourage your husband to find a men's group if he's not in one. But today I Googled overwhelmed moms. And I just was looking at the content that shows up online when that's there. So I wanted to go ahead and share my screen and let you take a look at what I found. So this first one is Mommy Burnout Part One. Why moms are so overwhelmed. And there's just a few things in here that I love. Um, Burnout makes you irritable, moody, unable to manage responsibilities. In short, it's the worst version of yourself on autopilot. Can you relate to that? And can you relate to being at your best self and being in a place where you're just not as solid as you'd like to be? Um, she goes through, she does a good job of telling a story throughout this whole thing. And just asking people to just pay attention. Like, can you recognize that you've had burnout? Which in reality is kind of the first step, right? Like the mindset to say, I need help. So, do you feel desperate for a night off? Women are expected to be the CEO of a company and manage the household, creating grocery lists and helping with bills. Any woman can't keep up with all those balls at the same time. And I see moms doing it. I mean, moms are actually masterful at it. They're incredible. That's why I usually call you super moms because I actually am just blown away at how well moms do this. And sometimes they don't give themselves enough credit for how well they do it because there is always so much to balance and juggle. There is a whole economic piece of stress. I love that she brought this up. Um, it's keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like moms comparing themselves to other moms and what's going on. Sometimes we just gotta, get together with other moms and we gotta bring this stuff to the surface and share and talk about it and just let it go. Acknowledge it. Say, yeah, I'm been there. That's where I'm at. But I don't need to be there. I'm a pretty great mom. Right? Like it's really focusing on you realizing what a great mom you are. We don't raise children around our extended families, and we are not meant to raise generations of children without help. I love that she points this out. I'm a huge family guy, and we do our generational healings as moms, and then we help our kids, and then our full families are more connected. There's better culture within our families. So the more we can regulate our nervous systems, then the more our families are going to feel safe. And when our families feel safe with one another, we just make better decisions as humans growing up in that family. So this is really powerful for moms. Moms do have really high expectations for themselves. You'll be the first to be critical of yourself. You'll be the first to put yourself down. And while maybe you can change that language and maybe you can find a way where you empower yourself with that perspective. So I used to just always kind of look at myself like a bulldog, like I'm in people's faces and I'm like, well, this isn't good and this isn't good and this isn't good. And it was just because I knew it that I shared it and I cared. It wasn't that I was actually judging people for the choices that they made. Right. But if as soon as I kind of switch that into like, wow, I'm really loving and relentless at how much I love, it just gave me a new perspective. And frankly, it's more serving for me to have that perspective, right? So, where can you find the stories that are not serving you, and which stories can be more serving for you, right? We've taken on the role of play dates, coaches, and stimulators. Moms are responsible for doing it all. How often do you just take a break and check in with yourself and see where you're at? Every day we have constant inputs from our daily life that are coming into our life. So how do we intentionally give ourselves inputs that allow us to feel safer. This is like a communication that you can develop with your body with neurotraining. Is burnout depression? Is it burnout, depression, or anxiety? It really doesn't matter what label you put on it. Lots of people are gonna put labels on it. She's got a great list of questions here for you to just like look and see where you're at. Again, this is the mindset side of it. Are you ready? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you ready to move forward and change your life in ways that are really healing for your entire family, not just yourself? Right? How do you show up better to show up better for your kids? Here's 12 tips for overwhelmed moms. Acknowledge what you're feeling. It's a beautiful thing when people can acknowledge the emotions that are flowing through us, and we need them to flow through us. We don't want to hold on to them. So when we acknowledge what we're feeling, we don't have to put those feelings on someone else, but we can verbalize those feelings and take ownership for this is what I'm feeling right now, and it's my problem. I'm the one who's going to do the work around what this feeling is, but I'm verbalizing it because we're within a family environment and we're here to look out for one another. Right. Her recommendation is to build a community and ask for help. Right. And I think it can be so much simpler than that, because building a community can, I mean, that's what I'm attempting to do here right now, is build a community. So building a community can take on a whole nother aspect and level of stress that might not be serving for you. So it might just be easier to join an existing community where we're having these conversations and getting moms the support that they need. Do you clear your plate? Right? Like, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Do you look at your environment? The environment is so powerful. So are you putting yourself in a positive environment? Are you putting yourself in a growth oriented environment? Are you putting yourself in an environment where you feel challenged so that you do grow? These are things that we want to be looking for that can just really help us and our families. I love that she brings up gratitude. There's moments and times when you're going to be frustrated with your husbands, you're going to be frustrated with your kids, but how can you find gratitude for those little moments, right? Like, what's coming up that's showing you something that you can reflect on? And then how can you find the gratitude for the stuff in those moments? It's a lot of the deep inner work that has to happen. Prioritizing self-care. Moms are not the best at this, and they know it all the time. So as much as they know they need to prioritize self-care and they don't do it, what will it take for you to prioritize self-care? That she suggests waking before the kids. I think you can get a lot done before the kids get up. At the same time, sometimes it can be moms need more sleep. Kids need more sleep. And it is important that you do not compromise your sleep and you spend the time on it. So, whether you wake before the kids or you stay up later than the kids, you really need to make sure that you're taking care of getting the amount of sleep that you need. It's where we rejuvenate, we stay fresh, our hormones work better, everything's spent better that way. Spending time with friends. Other people's nervous systems light us up. They give us energy. So are you spending time with friends whose nervous systems are good for you? Are you spending time with friends whose nervous systems, put you on edge? This can be something to really pay attention to. Get outside, sunshine, nature, forest breathing, breathing in the bacteria that is all around the forest is really healthy for us. Like, that's what our bodies actually know, not these foreign chemicals, the chemicals sprayed in the sky or whatever else that we might be like, oh no, we can just do the things that are really good for us. Taking a break from your phone, right? Being present with your kids, not letting that blue light come up and get in your face, and finding a time where you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do this activity. And then I'm going to give my presence other place. And I'm not going to come back and be focused on it. Like, can you prioritize like that? I know for me, this one's a bigger struggle too, but I also don't pay attention to my phone and really very well at all when I'm present with people. So when I'm spending time with other people and family and kids, it's really easy for me to not be in my phone. Make your home functional. Like, do you have clean air? Do you have clean water in homes? If you're looking for some devices about clean air or clean water, what's the best thing to do? Reach out, let me know, we can talk about it. Feeling stressed and overwhelmed should not be an accepted part of motherhood. Instead, you must prioritize your self-care and practice positivity. This is what I'd really like to normalize inside Neuro for moms. Right? Like I'd really like it if the moms can create this fostering this community where overwhelm is the thing that says, hey, I need to get help. I need to belong to a community. I need to figure out what inputs that I need to change so that I can find safety in my body so that I cannot perpetuate this problem through generations. Right. Because every little bit of this energetic work that we do for ourselves, we also support our kids. So, sometimes moms can pour all of their love into their kids, and it's not serving the children. Think on that for a minute. Is there a time where you're pouring your love and energy into your child that it's actually doing more harm in the long run than good? Something to really consider when you're parenting. When you're parenting, I'm not a parent, but as I notice, parents sometimes they just give in and they keep loving, and then it's like, what is the long-term impact of that? And if their kid doesn't learn to have hard moments, there's a whole area of our brain that is like a muscle and it grows when we learn to do hard things. Self-soothing, helping kids learn that they need to practice self-soothing, for example, is just the early stages of where this development starts to take place. This last one, I'm not an angry mom, I'm an overwhelmed mom. You in a family where people just feel like you're always angry, because if you are, it's not fair. You're just stressed. You're blown out. Your sympathetic system is stuck, and you need to find and flex your parasympathetic nervous system. So you want to find an area where you can feel calm, right? We tend to lose ourselves a bit. Isn't that true? In families, you're so busy playing these roles for other people that you don't follow your own intuition and play your own role. You've like created a family and you're allowing them to create your life instead of you've created this family and now you're creating life with intention. And when we're blown out, our sympathetic nervous system is just full gas on. It's really tough to find ourselves in flow or being in a creative place and supporting people. So, this is a pretty big point that she brings up. We tend to lose ourselves a bit. So what's it going to take for you to focus on deciding that you're going to really find yourself and that you're going to do intentional creation with your family, right? When we feel overwhelmed, these are some things that she brings up that we're often lacking, right? Adequate food, mental and physical rest, social connections, support systems, opportunities for movement. Movement is another way of saying, hey, neuro drills. But are you doing neuro drills for your vision, for your vestibular systems that allow you to feel better? Right? Are there aspects of your body that isn't even on your brain map? Like, how can you remap and reintegrate parts of yourself so that's another layer that helps you find safety? And we don't even recognize that our map in certain areas of our bodies isn't working to the best of our ability. And we just don't know what we don't know, right? This is it's a pretty solid article. Regulation is a skill, so let's teach it. That's what I really want to do with this group. I want you to understand that changing the inputs in your nervous system becomes a skill that you can know yourself. And the more that you figure out how the tools work and you implement in your life, then the more you can teach it. Every time you learn it and you teach it, then it's going to sink in at a different level for you. And the more moms we've got that are teaching nervous system, and the better kids are going to grow up with understanding their nervous system, knowing what's right, knowing what's wrong. Right? So overall, this was just a really good article, how it talks about the nervous system. It gives your nervous system time to reset. Right? Like, how often are you finding a reset moment for your nervous system? How often are you priming your nervous system versus just kind of being stuck going through life that might feel like burnout in the first article we discussed? So hopefully this kind of highlights some things about the way that I think, how we can support one another in this community. if you want to work on this at a deeper level and we have not already done a nervous system training session, reach out, let's get into that. Let's dig in. If you want to work together more one-on-one for hitting bigger goals that are personally directed to you, reach out and let me know. I've got a quick questionnaire. We can figure out how and where we can get started and whether or not we're the right fit. But ultimately, this will take about 3 months. It's about a 12-week process. It's usually 8 times we meet one-on-one. We go through neuro drills. We go through mindset. We talk about whatever might be coming up in your world, whether it's digestive stuff, whether it's relational stuff, and we just dig into the mindset of what that stuff can look like. And then, yeah, I guess that's what I got. Just let me know. And I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and hopefully you found it beneficial. Share some comments below about your biggest takeaway. It's always good to just repeat what landed at home for you and share with other moms. And find that ground where you understand one another, but don't find that ground where you understand one another, that you complain about it, go back and forth with one another, and you become a support system for trauma. Cheer one another on and make one another feel uncomfortable and push each other for that growth, right? So that we can just have some amazing families, super cool kids, no traumas, just create the most amazing aspects of life. And that's what really safe families with good nervous systems do. And they're incredible creators. I'll leave you with that. Thanks for listening.